Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, Ms. Jones, I'm very excited to meet with you. I am sorry to say that I'm going to have to cut our meeting short. I only have about 10 minutes. The president called me and I'm going to have to go meet with him after this.
Perfectly fine.
So I'll leave the floor to you.
I was looking over the salary increase, and my current salary is at 42,000. And though I think that is a comfortable salary, I was also looking at the increases over the field in general. And I was actually wondering, though I'm in the 25th percentile, could I possibly range up to the 75th or maybe even the 50th to start and work my way to the 75th percentile? Because in other aspects of this field, there's other employees making upwards of $52,000 where I'm $10,000 less. And seeing as I can constantly go above and beyond to meet my data and make sure everything's held accountable around work, I feel that my work ethic is very good, and I was wondering if we could negotiate that.
Yeah, sure. I'm open to the discussion. You're obviously a really valued employee, so I want to make sure I can do everything to keep you. So I'm happy to start discussing what wiggle room we do have. I will say that, you know, there are certain restrictions I am bound to as well, that are given to me by the company. Unfortunately, if I could give you a huge raise, I would right off the bat, because I know how good of an employee you are. So what I will say is there is a little bit of wiggle room. How would about a raise of $1,000 be?
Would you be able to go higher, maybe say 3,000, just to meet that cuff, just to start at like a strong increase, and then we can gradually discuss over the next quarter a continuing raise? Would you be comfortable with 3?
Yeah, so I'll tell you kind of where I'm at for this fiscal year. The max I could really go to would probably be a raise of about $1,260. And I'd be happy to do that with you so that you'd be at 43,260. And then hear me out. I think there are some other things we can maybe negotiate on. This fiscal year, I'm a little tied, but you are going to be getting a bonus at the very beginning of next fiscal year. You had a bonus of 2,000 this last year, and I can bump that bonus up for you a little bit. So instead of 2,000, I'm happy to do about 3,000 to 3,500 for your next bonus if you meet expectations. And I'm also happy to discuss other benefits that you might be willing to negotiate with.
That sounds plausible. I'm just wondering, what are those next steps? What are the things I would have to do, the requirements I would have to meet that 3,500?
Well, just when you have your review plan for the end of the year, when you have your plan that we set out your goals for what you're going to be doing throughout the year. So you're aware of that. You're aware of what your goals are. And obviously you're meeting those goals every year. So I have no doubt that you're going to have another outstanding year, which means I have no doubt I'll be able to give you another awesome bonus because of the work you do. So really what I'm saying is you can get that additional bonus next year as well, just to kind of boost that income up a little bit. I'm also happy to discuss some different time off options with you if you'd like. I can offer a little more time off if that's something you're interested in. Is there anything else benefits wise that you might be interested in discussing?
The benefits of the PTO would be beneficial to me. Currently, my rate is 2 PTO days per month that I accrue. I understand that I am getting an increase in accrual rate next May, but is there any way I could get that accrual rate bumped up sooner to maybe 2.5 days or whatever's plausible?
Yeah, I would be very happy to do that for you. So what we can do, in fact, maybe we can go up, we can do an additional 2 days PTO per month. So you'll be getting 4 days PTO for that accrual. We'll do a raise of 1,260. And then you'll have an additional add-on bonus of 3,500 for the next fiscal year. So with those 3 things, how do you think that sounds?
That sounds good. I think we can both agree on that. That is.
Yeah, okay.
Perfect.
And we can obviously, as time goes on, you know, I'm happy that you came to me about this. I'm happy you wanted to discuss this with me. I truly understand that you are a valued employee, and I really appreciate you having this conversation with me. We can have it again at a later date.
Perfect. I really
rediscuss.
appreciate that you appreciate that, because I feel like lately, just like around the whole company, it's just been so tough, especially with COVID, that like even with the staffing situation, I feel like I took on more of a task load with no hesitation. And I'm glad that other people are recognizing that.
Of course, of course. So I will get those changes through to HR, and I'll follow up with you on next steps, okay?
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
All right.
Okay, so I guess maybe I'll do employee with Megan. Does
Okay.
that sound good?
You want me to be the employer? Okay.
You'll be the
You were
yeah,
really
you'll be,
good. Like I'm like I gotta meet her expectations now.
Oh, I'm literally just going off a cuff. Like
Same.
if I talk too much, that's what I do when I have anxiety. So sorry in advance.
Me too. Me too.
Okay. So I only have about 10 minutes to talk. I need to meet with the CEO. So I know you wanted to meet with me and talk about raise opportunity options. What was your thought about that?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you only have 10 minutes.
Yes.
Well,
Sorry.
one thing I would like to say before we get started, yeah, I am very flexible, and I understand your time is very precious to you, that you are very busy. But in the same boat, my time means a lot to me as well. And there was a reason I scheduled an hour-long meeting with you, because I wanted to have that long conversation. So in the future, if we run into this again, if you wouldn't mind maybe just rescheduling the appointment with me, I would really appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, I really do appreciate it. And with that being said, I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me. It means a lot to me. There are some different things I'd like to discuss with you. And I also just want to say that I really appreciate how supportive you've been and how much of a mentor you've been to me over these last several years. I've really enjoyed my time being an employee here for 6 years, and I feel as though I've done a lot of growing and helped the company grow a lot along the way. Just in terms of my skill, I have supervisory experience now. I went from being one of 2 people on the HR team to leading a team of 5. And I help a lot with strategic planning. I do provide regular reports that analyze how HR is doing. And I also maintain personal records, do all the job evaluations and all the recruiting. And of course, I really love doing this. This is what I really enjoy doing, HR. I've discovered my passion while working here. And just through your support and commitment, I've been able to grow. And on top of that, I now have a certificate as a senior HR personnel. So I've developed my skills as I've gone along. With that being said, I would like to discuss my salary with you if possible. I have been doing some research, and I find that for people who have comparable experience to myself in the same field, they are making more than me on average. So I would like to start by just having that discussion, opening it up for discussion, if you're willing to do that.
Yep, absolutely. So I just want to thank you for all of your dedication. You're an outstanding employee. You give everybody your all, and it shows. So with that
Yeah,
being
thank you.
said, what are you looking at?
So what I'm looking at is if maybe we can start, I'm looking at a $10,000 raise. Is that something that's in the ballpark that we can negotiate?
So right now, I don't think we can go that high. I would love to pay you that much money. We just can't at the moment. What if we started a little bit lower? Maybe not me, maybe around 5,000. How does that sound?
Well, 5,000 is okay. That would still be a bit below average.
Yep.
And it's not to say that it's nothing personal against the company or against you. I really, like I said, I really do enjoy the job. But I would like to kind of be more in line with industry average, if that's possible.
Okay.
However, if we were to start at 5,000, are there other benefits that you're willing to negotiate with me? Such as my time off, my PTO, or even job flexibility in terms of working from home?
So maybe we could do something with job flexibility. Maybe you could work home a couple days a week, come into the office a couple days a week. Maybe we can add another weekend of vacation or extra PTO days that you will accrue during the months. That's something we can definitely discuss, since I can't give you that number that you want for your raise.
All right. So if that is the case, then how would an extra 2 weeks of PTO sound? And I would like to possibly do remote on Mondays and Fridays if possible.
You know what? I think we can do that. I think
Yeah, is that a
that's,
possibility?
yep, I think that's a possibility. I don't want to lose you as an employee. You've shown your worth at this place, so I definitely think that this is doable.
And I really appreciate that, because I would like to stay with the company, and I
Okay.
plan to continue growing my career here. So if that is the case, then I will accept those terms, the $5,000 raise, extra 2 weeks of PTO,
Yep.
and 2 days of remote work on Monday and Friday.
Yep, absolutely. And I will pass all of this information along, and we'll get it all written down.
Okay, great. So I will be in touch with you then
Okay,
for next
sounds
steps.
great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, that was
Okay.
great.
That was good. All right,
Okay, one more. And
one more,
okay.
and then I'll get the questions up for after that.
Great. Good afternoon, Ms. Jones. It's nice to see you. I did just get a call from the CEO, and he wants to meet me in about 10 minutes. I understand that you did want an allotted office hours for 1 hour with me, but I do have a time crunch. Is there something specific you would like to talk about?
Yes, I would actually like to possibly talk to you about getting a raise. I've put a lot into this firm. I've taken on a lot of responsibilities. I've helped grown with the firm as well. So I think I've definitely shown my worth, and with the cost of living and everything. And I just feel like I should be making more money for everything that I've been doing.
I completely understand. We do value you very much around this firm. You are one of our greatest assets around here. We do notice that you've been working overtime to get the budget done and make sure everything's in order. So we do appreciate you highly. Is there a range you're looking for in particular?
Would maybe 4,000 work for a raise?
I don't know if I can go 4,000, but I might be able to start you with a $2,000 raise. Would that be plausible for you?
What else could you throw at me in order to entice my
We can
thoughts of staying?
I understand. We can give you more benefits. If you're looking for more days at home, we can possibly set you up hybrid. Or if you're looking for more PTO, like a larger accrual rate, we can also discuss that.
Okay.
Would either of those be something of interest to you?
Yeah, what if I did 1 day from home during the week and maybe picked up another week of vacation time?
What day of the week would you prefer?
Could I do a Wednesday?
We could definitely do Wednesdays, as
Okay.
long as it's not Mondays, because Mondays are our busy days, as you know.
Okay.
And then as far as the week extra of time off, I think we would be able to manage that. One more week and then a $2,000 raise in
Okay.
addition to working from home on Wednesdays. I don't see a problem with that whatsoever. You are, like, as I mentioned, one of our hardest workers here at the firm, and we do appreciate you so much, and everything you do is so valued here. So I would like to accommodate you with those as long as you are comfortable.
Yep, I am absolutely comfortable with that, and I appreciate you taking the time with me to discuss this. I know you have to get going, but yeah, I can definitely work with that. And then maybe further on down the road, we could talk about another increase if I'm taking on more responsibilities as well, if
Absolutely.
that's possible.
We have another evaluation period within the next fiscal year, so we can definitely revisit this
Okay.
and look at where we're at, where you're standing with your caseloads, and we can definitely revise the salary increase then.
Okay, sounds great.
Is there any other concerns you have?
Nope, I don't believe so at this time.
Perfect. Well, I will get that all set up for you and send it over to the HR department, and we will have it ready for you next week.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Okay.
I think that went well.
Yeah, I think we did a good job. So we just have a few questions we have to answer now.
Yes.
I think we just have to discuss them. So I can read them. I have them here.
Okay.
Okay, so the first question is, what do you think worked really well in your salary negotiation role play? What strengths did you discover about yourself? And what did it feel like to advocate for yourself and the salary you deserve?
Well, I just have to say, Elizabeth, like, you were amazing. Like, though,
Yes.
I just have
thank
to
you.
throw that. You're just like whipping everything out. I'm like, oh my God, she's awesome.
No, I don't feel that way.
Well,
I always feel like I ramble.
No, that was amazing. I
Thank
thought how you handled both ends was incredible. Like,
Very
it was,
professional.
yeah, very
Oh,
professional,
thanks, guys.
very professional. So, yeah, sorry, I just had to throw that out there, ladies.
No, thank you. Thank you. I think you guys did equally well. I think we all handled ourselves really well with it.
I don't like getting put on the spot.
Neither do I.
Yeah, right.
Which, like, I teach, so, but that's, you know what I mean? It's different, but when it's like this, it's like, but.
Yeah. And I have to say, honestly, in the real world, this is something I would kind of never do. Like,
Right.
it's kind of daunting to me to do this.
I mean, I guess it's good practice, especially if you're going in for, you know, like a big promotion or something, or you're up against somebody. It's definitely a good thing to do.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
But
Your dog's
so,
cute.
but yeah, I think it is a good thing to practice on. But, like, I don't think I'd ever have to face this, just because, like, I work in a school district, so my boss wouldn't be doing this to me. But I think
Yeah.
it's good practice. So
Yeah,
I do agree that it is good practice. I felt like almost as if I should go to work tomorrow now and ask for some
Form
more
in there.
PTO and
Yeah.
maybe a raise. It made me feel very confident in my skills for sure.
Yeah, I feel like if, like, the more I were to practice this, that I would just have, like, more confidence, which I
Right.
appreciate.
yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, so I'll go on to the next question. So
Okay.
what was the most challenging part of the negotiation process for both sides? How would you do things differently in future negotiation? And what resources do you need to become a better negotiator?
I think for me personally, it was almost the rebuttal factor when you guys gave me the question or gave me the response. It was almost as if, okay, how do I respond? Is this all right? Is it,
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
am
yeah,
I
agree.
comfortable? Am I really comfortable with what they're giving me or what they're asking me? I think that aspect of it was probably like the hardest thing for me.
Yeah, I get that. And you know what, too, for me is like, I feel like if I were to do this in my own job situation, for instance, I think it would almost be less stressful in the sense that it's like, I would know my boss really well. I would
Yes.
know my situation really well. And, like, you can kind of just, like, anticipate how the conversation is going to go a little more.
Yep.
Whereas this is
Especially
just
if you
kind
know
of,
your boss, like,
Yeah.
you know what to expect. You have that comfort level as well, and it's your atmosphere, it's your work. So, like, you know what to say. Where when we did this, like, we didn't.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just
Miss
complete- like,
Hernandez
I'm
and
not
Miss
an
Jones.
HR.
It's like, it's totally scripted. So it's hard to just try to be like off the cuff with it.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah. Otherwise, I don't know if there's anything else I would have really done differently. I think I would have researched it more. So I would just have more details of, like,
Yep.
exactly
Yeah.
what I wanted in terms
Mhm.
of, like, pay
Right.
raise and exactly where I was willing to negotiate to. I would just have, like, more details and everything.
Especially if it was in like an interview setting, I feel like it would be a completely different demeanor to whereas like if I was just asking my clinical supervisor for a raise and just negotiating stuff, I feel like if I was in the interview, I would just try to be more informed before I asked instead
Yeah.
of just kind of
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
not.
Spitballing.
Yeah.
And like what I've done too is anytime like I've interviewed or like I've had to meet with my boss or anything like that, I always like we said, I always write stuff down because I don't want to forget anything, or I don't want to, leave and be like, oh, I forgot to ask her that question, or you know what I mean? So I usually like to write things down.
As do
Yeah.
I. I'm
Yeah,
a
I
big
agree with you on
note
that.
taker. I
Yes,
walk
I
around work
know.
with a notebook.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's a good point. So I think that's good on that one then. So I'll move on. So what did you learn from playing both the employee and employer roles together?
So I think for the employee, I feel like you go in and you're like all gung ho, but then at the same time, you're so nervous about asking for that increase, but you want to let them know what your worth is. And then for the employer, you almost feel bad that you have to shoot your employee down when you're like, I can't give you this, but I can do this. So, it's like good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
So it's hard on both ends because it's just a hard decision as a boss, or not even a decision. I don't want to say that. It's a hard
Conversation to have.
conversation to have with somebody when you're like, no, I can't give you this raise, even though, somebody over here is making more money than you at this other place of employment. You know what I mean? So it's tough, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you know what too, like for me is I feel like I would have the most confidence with the first ask of like, I want this. But then when it came to like, if they were to give me like a rebuttal of like, well, we can give you this, I think I would be more likely to just be like, sure, yeah, that's great.
Yep,
Like
yep.
I wouldn't negotiate further with it. Like I would just be like, oh, it's better than nothing. So yes, like
Yep,
just give me that.
yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as the employee, as the employer standpoint, I feel as if you almost have to walk on eggshells, like especially nowadays, like someone wants something, they're kind of demanding it almost.
Yeah.
Especially like particularly at my work, I know that people are very just like gun ho about asking for raises and they have no fear. But as the employer, I would just be so nervous to shoot that down, especially
Yeah.
if like you couldn't like give them even half of what they wanted.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a little nerve-wracking.
I think it's like a skill in learning how to tactfully let people down,
Without
Yeah.
being like
Oh, yeah.
without hurting
without
any
being
feelings.
rude or without being like going over the line and just saying no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that like the line you got to find.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really hard on both sides, I think. So, okay, so I'll go on to the next one. This is the last one. So based on this week's readings and this role play, why do you think salary negotiation is important?
I feel that it helps you express your worth to the company.
Yep.
Without a negotiation, if you're not comfortable with the salary or the benefits you're getting, you're going to be overlooked time and time and again if you don't speak up.
Yep.
So just like finding that skill and not being afraid to like use your voice, essentially.
Especially if you do more than what you're making. Like if you're going above and beyond, but you're not making what you should be for all the work that you're putting in, you need to speak up. And it actually goes back to, was it last week's reading or one of the readings before about what makes you a good leader?
Mm.
So like I was like, oh yeah. I mean, you can definitely be a good leader, but you also need to know your worth, and your boss needs to know your worth as well. So if you're putting in all that effort, you need to be compensated for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think just getting the skill of like being better at advocating for yourself, like especially as women, I think it's just
Oh yeah.
it's really good to like be able to stick up for yourself and know, like you said, know your own worth.
Yep.
As an employee or as a manager. And two, like more philosophical, I guess, is like the readings when they were saying how it's like, oh, it helps women with like the pay gap issue. Like if you actively negotiate for your salary. It's just like
Mhm.
boosting women up in general. And I'm like, yeah, so like helping everybody up, like we
Yeah.
can all just work on advocating for ourselves a little more.
Yeah,
And
similar to the reading, I think it was probably 2 weeks ago now, where it was telling women to avoid justifying their words or their thoughts.
Yes, like saying sorry
Yeah.
all the time.
Sorry, or maybe, or just, I have just a little idea, like, just
Mhm.
stop trying to justify
Yeah,
what
it's
your,
like, listen
thoughts
to
are.
me.
Yeah.
This is what I have. These are my thoughts. Like, you know, but
Mhm.
it's hard. It's, I
Yeah.
mean, my field, it's I don't know, probably 99% are women. I mean, I work in a school, so um we hear each other's ideas.
Exactly.
But sometimes the male teachers will be like, oh no, we're gonna do it this way. And of course, you know, majority rules because but in like another field, you know, a field that's more male dominant, like what's gonna happen there? You know, like so
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it still happens. I mean, you still get the guys who want to mansplain to you everything. And
Yeah.
like, you know, you just have to be a little more assertive, I think.
Just be firm. You have to be
Yeah.
firm.
You do,
You do.
and that's you can't back down. That's and I feel sometimes like if you go in, they'll almost not every boss, but some bosses will bully you down and you
Yeah.
back down because you're like, okay, this is my superior. I have to, you know,
Right.
listen to
And I
what
think
they're
that depends on the boss. Like, I think you're
saying.
going to
Yes.
have some bosses that are just awful like that. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just their personality. But like, if for me, if like I was a boss and I had like an employee, like an employee come up to me and like do this conversation where it's like, you know, I think I could do better. And like, I'm bringing a lot to the table. Even if I couldn't offer them a lot, I would be like, you know what, like good for them, like having the confidence to like even
Right.
just come and have this conversation with
Yeah.
me,
Yeah,
you know?
seriously.
Yeah. So, well, okay. Well, that was the last of the questions, so I think we're good otherwise.
Okay.
Perfect. I will, I'll send you guys the screen recording. I'm just gonna stop recording it right now.